Hello viewers, today I'll be looking at Skyhill, a new point-and-click survival horror roguelike hybrid by the Mandragora team, which they have dubbed as Point and Survive. The game was published by Daedalic Entertainment, who were kind enough to supply us with a review code. The game takes place in a hotel known as Skyhill, and sees the player traversing all 100 floors after a chemical bomb is dropped on the city during a conflict between warring nations. During his travels, he will need to combat mutated former residents, scavenge for food and medical supplies, all while trying to escape. It's a simple if cliched setup, but the setting itself helps simplify the random generation of rooms due to the structure. Speaking of the setup, the introductory cutscene does a pretty decent job of establishing the location without cramming too much exposition down your throat. While it's all fully voiced, unfortunately the voice acting itself is a tad ropey.
Houston, New Europe, please remain calm and stay inside. Turn on your home biological defense system, and if you have known, directly proceed to the nearest biohazard shelter, women and children.
Other information can be found through the usual suspects such as audio logs, notes from residents and newspaper cuttings. Additionally, you can acquire cell phones and access PCs, which sometimes direct the player to various rooms and items. As the tagline suggests, you explore the game world by pointing and clicking on a location you wish to move to, as well as searching rooms and combating enemies. It's a good and simple system that helps keep the game moving at a good pace. Each movement you make costs 1 point from your food meter, and if that number drops to 0, you will instead begin taking 2 points of damage each movement action. Some food has spoiled and can harm you as well as giving you food points back, so be careful. With larger combinations as well as raw meat needing to be taken back to your VIP suite so that you can cook them. Fortunately, you can use the elevator to quickly return to your room and other floors without wasting food points. Some floors are without power, meaning you cannot use the elevator and the lights don't work. However, you can attempt to fix the system even if you don't have the correct tools. Although while attempting this, you will lose food points and potentially lose an item, fail, or even worse, both. Keeping your hunger at bay isn't the only problem you face. Mutated former residents now inhabit the uninviting halls and apartments. When you encounter one of these, the game switches to a basic turn-based battle system, with the player able to select different body parts to attack with any weapons they have acquired. While attacking certain areas such as the head will dish out more damage than others, there's also a greater chance you'll miss. It's a good risk equals reward system, and a lucky hit can often get you out of a tight situation. You do have the ability to flee from combat, but the enemy sometimes gets a free attack, and it should be noted that some monsters also have the ability to flee. As you defeat monsters, you will eventually gain enough experience to level up, and you are then able to allocate a set amount of skill points. These not only raise your stats, but will also make certain weapons more effective. Trying to find a good balance is key to survival. The monster designs themselves aren't bad and fit in well with the visual style of the game, which in itself does a decent job. These encounters will often leave you with some damage. You can either heal immediately using one of the various healing items found, or you can travel back up to your VIP suite and rest. This will use food points from your food meter, and random events can occur during the rest period which can disrupt your sleep, which also causes you to regain less health. It's possible to negate this by upgrading your bed to gain more HP during rest, or the VIP door to cancel out the noise. From my experience, while you find plenty of mutated residents, there's only one other human resident still alive. It is possible to trade specific items with him. Unfortunately, the only time I was able to do this, I managed to obtain the best weapon in the game from him. This would have been great, but by the end of the game, the difficulty spike is practically vertical, and I never came close to using it. Now, it is a roguelike game, so you will be dying a lot. Now, while you lose your level and items, you unlock a multitude of passive and one-use perks. You are then able to select one of each before your next attempt at escape. Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the passive perks have pros and cons. For example, the Rampage perk guarantees that you will always get to attack first during encounters. However, the drawback is that you cannot flee from any battles. The one-off perks, on the other hand, range from giving you a large healing kit to upgrading a random object in your room. The difficulty for the most part is pretty good, with the first 50 to 60 floors feeling well balanced. Unfortunately, after that, the difficulty can spike, with the final 20 floors swarming with two of the hardest enemies in the game, hitting you like a roadblock and making the final floors feel like a chore. These monsters are just thrown at the player like confetti towards the end of the game, with consumables all but drying up. The game itself is far from perfect, and if you're not a fan of the roguelike genre, then this won't change your mind. Overall, it's solid in most areas, and you might find yourself playing for 30 minutes to a couple of hours each time. The randomized rooms and item locations can add to replayability, and for the completionists out there, the game boasts multiple and optional endings to keep you going. The balance in regards to difficulty is pretty spot on for the first half of the hotel, before the difficulty spikes with enemies that feel just a bit too unfair. It's well presented with some decent looking sprites and dark lighting that help build a decent atmosphere, but it never really evokes a reaction of fear. If you're a fan of the genre and have been itching for a new title, then you've probably already picked it up. However, if you're on the fence or a bit burnt out from the genre, then you should probably wait for it to go on sale. I did enjoy my time with Skyhill, and it's by no means a bad game, but it just misses out on being a great game. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be kept up to date with new content, and visit us at apgnation.com for even more. And if you want to hear any of my voice, check out my channel in the description. I'll catch you guys later.